Hey guys, assalamu alaikum, welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell button. So I've had a little hiccup, as some of you guys might know if you are the early birds. Yesterday I posted, which technically this morning I posted a video on YouTube, and unfortunately I had to take it down. Really sad about that, but it's okay, we move on. I've started this new series called Share with Sheley, and one of my Instagram followers gave me that name. Thank you so much. And basically I am asking anyone and everyone to message me with your issues, your queries, your problems, anything you like, anything and everything related to, I don't know, marriage, relationships, in-laws, motherhood, anything you guys like. And me and my husband are both going to try our best. Sometimes it might be me and my sister, I'm not sure, but I'm going to be the main person. We are going to try our best to give you guys advice, or like our opinion on what we think would be the best solution, or what we would do if we were in that situation. Rightio. My husband's gone right now to make the teas and coffees. It's really late at night, by the way. It's like, what's the time? 12:30 at night. I've been working all day, guys, and I had a late shift. I work from home, by the way, and I work for an American team, which is why my shift is really late, because you know the time difference. But yeah, I've had a really long day with the kids. The kids came back from school, I fed them, I took them out actually on my break, and we had some food outside, and I went to the gym in the morning as well, by the way. So yeah, it's been a long day, but I really wanted to make this video. I'm gonna, if you watch my video that I deleted, I'm also going to add some of those points in this video, because obviously that video is deleted. So the main focus of this video is going to be dealing with difficult mother-in-laws. I've had a handful of messages from followers about their mother-in-laws being really difficult, you know, causing problems, not treating them nicely, basically. By the way, I did do a advice video on in-laws, which I'm going to add to this series. I filmed that back in Ramadan, and me and my sister sat down and we spoke about in-laws and how to deal with difficult in-laws, basically. And on that video I got a few comments from a few of you guys, and one of them was, my mother-in-law is not very understanding and nice. If anything, I get I didn't understand that actually. My mother-in-law is not very understanding and nice. I have really bad anxiety, and I'm always scared around her because of her unpredictable moods. And I've seen a pattern in these messages that I've been getting, and basically it's difficult mother-in-laws that are making life hell for new daughter-in-laws, and it's really difficult to live with mother-in-laws in general. I am gonna wait for my husband to come before I start, by the way. Oh my god, how do you make the coffee? It's so nice every time.
You mean?
Allah, I've got fluff in my mouth. It's so nice. My husband makes the best coffees. So you guys, my husband's back with the coffees. Say hi, babe.
Hi.
Right, so I've just done the intro, babe.
Okay.
And I've told them that we're going to be talking about mother-in-law issues. So I think that's one of the hottest topics in the Asian, Bengali, Indian, Pakistani, I'm sure, community. From where I come from, I'm a Bengali, British Bangladeshi woman. I think mother-in-laws is a really hot topic. I've had a few women reach out to me and tell me how they are facing difficulties with their mother-in-law, you know, and mainly it's because I think people that are outside our community wouldn't understand. Let me recap. Once we get married, once a girl gets married, she moves in. This is like 99% of the time, by the way. Like, this is very common. She moves in with her in-laws, so she moves in where her husband lives. So she has to live with the husband's mother, father, brothers and sisters, the brother's wife, the brother's kids. This is very common, and I did that, by the way. So me and my husband, we've been married for 12 years, nearly 13 years this year, and I've lived with his family for 10 years, alhamdulillah. I've had a very good experience, by the way, and I was lucky that I had a really good experience, because his parents, his brothers and sisters, they were amazing. My sister-in-law, my husband's brother's wife, bloody amazing. Honestly, she's like she is an older sister to me. Who is that? Anyways, so yes, alhamdulillah, I had a good experience, but you do have your ups and downs, and I've seen people struggling, and maybe I can give you guys some input on it. So what is the issue though? Do you know what the issue is? It's when the mother-in-law is not getting along with the daughter-in-law. So what the issue here is the fact that there's two women in one house. And there's a saying, someone actually said this in my one of the videos. She commented saying that there can only be one queen in a house, in a palace, and I kind of agree to that, actually, because it is difficult to have two women who are like there's opinions, they're contradicting, there's different ways, lifestyle, everything's very different. So when this daughter-in-law comes into this house, she's all of a sudden having to adjust to this new way of living, to be honest. They have a completely different routine.
It's like a culture clash.
Yeah.
In one sense, it's like you know, because the elder generation have a different. They're more attached to their culture. Yeah. I'd say, and the younger generation that are being brought up now. Yeah. They're, I'd say, open-minded, but they're different culture. Yeah. I mean, you can't really take the culture away from the older generation. I mean, this is how they've been brought up. I know. It's the way it is. I mean, it's the way it has been for them. So, you know, the reason why they would be as they are is because the environment that they've been brought up in, basically.
100%, I agree. And it's really, really difficult, because sometimes you have to put yourself in the mother-in-law's shoes, literally, because you have to see what the mother-in-law has experienced in her lifetime, how she's dealt with her own mother-in-law. Maybe open up with her, speak to her, get her to open up and tell her story, and like ask her maybe, oh, how was your relationship with your mother-in-law, and then she could maybe remember and realize, hey, am I doing the same thing? Am I repeating history? Maybe she was bullied when she was newly married.
I think what it is, you need to change their perspective of how they view certain things, basically. Sometimes there has to be a realization of, you know, am I being harsh? You know, sometimes they have to be reminded that, you know, it's a different world now. You know, it's like sometimes they have to be reminded that I've got feelings as well, or, you know, you have to kind of like prompt it up, and then you need to create a different perspective of the way he envisions yourself. Yeah. I mean, you have to open up.
Because the mother-in-law, she's basically got so much expectation. She's got this new daughter-in-law coming into her house. She's thinking, yeah, my daughter-in-law's going to take some of the responsibility of me. She can do some of the cooking, the cleaning. But the mother-in-law isn't understanding that this girl has come from a completely different environment, and for her to adjust, it's going to take time. And plus, she might be working, she might have a 9 to 5 job.
Sometimes you can say it'll take time, but sometimes women, certain people are more difficult than others.
Yeah,
I mean,
100%.
you have women that are more stubborn, stern, you know, and a bit more, I don't know,
Stuff.
yeah, a bit more straight. Would I say straightforward, or would I say in a rude? They can be quite abrupt, you know.
Yeah, where they're in your face and they'll be like, nope, I'm not doing that.
I mean, not everybody's the same, but what
Yeah.
it is, right?
It's hard to mold them.
Yeah, but it's.
But then those girls would argue and say, no, I don't want to change and I don't want to be molded into this perfect daughter-in-law. I want to stay the way I am. So what do you say about that? And how does this daughter-in-law deal with these constant comments and these accusations and being judged constantly by this mother-in-law? It's not nice. So how would she overcome that? That is the question. How does she question the mother-in-law, but in a nice way?
I mean, what I'd say, I mean, I mentioned before, is build bridges with your mother-in-law. I mean, it's very important. I mean, it's conversation you have to make. It's, you know, the key of communication is speaking and listening. If you don't speak or listen, I mean, you're not going to get anywhere. Not anywhere, basically. You're just going to be where you are.
Yeah.
You need to speak up a bit, but without being rude. Yeah, it's all about having a good characteristic. I mean, some of you sisters are going to have it more difficult than others. I mean, for some sisters it'll be just impossible. I mean, it's a very difficult situation for a lot of sisters out there anyway. But it's you know, you have to bring, you know, when you come to the table basically with your mother-in-law, I think you need to try and build bridges. Yeah, you need to communicate, conversation.
Yeah.
You know, offer them something, gestures, little
Yeah,
gestures.
small gestures, definitely. Show them that you care and you acknowledge them, basically.
You can't change. You have to speak to them to let them know, look, this is what I'm going through.
Communication is key.
Communication is always key. I mean, through any relationship, even through in-laws or even with your husband or whatever. Not communicate, even with everybody outside the world. You know, the family.
Okay, I've got another question. What would you say about blocking and cutting ties with your in-laws? So when you're facing problems with your in-laws, you move out of the house, you've got your own place now, you and your husband live on your own, and now you've completely blocked them out of your life. What would you say about that?
I would say, how long are you going to block them out for, to be honest? I mean, they're going to be involved in your life at some point. If you have kids,
they need to know their dad's side, their grandparents,
or even your mom's side, vice versa. Anyway,
yeah, whatever
they have to know their grandparents. I mean, they might not like you, for example. They might like their grandchildren, but you can't prevent that from, you know, stop them. You know, your children have to live lives as well, as well as yourself.
And also, there are Islamic teachings where you shouldn't ignore or not speak to your relative for more than 3 days, I believe. So I put the hadith down, and I think it's a sin where you can't ignore your relative for more than 3 days. And it just shows the importance of keeping that relationship with anyone. It's not just in-laws. It could be your brother, your sister, your family members, anyone, your parents. You need to forgive and forget, kind of thing. Or forgive and also just move on, kind of thing, if that makes sense, isn't it?
Yeah, it's difficult to move on. I mean, I do say, you know, obviously different people have different circumstances, like I said, you know, but it's your characteristics. I mean, you have to be a shining star in that sense. I mean, you have to be a person with strong mentality, you know.
Because a lot of the times, you know what happens, like the daughter-in-law's really soft and quiet, and she doesn't say much, and then she gets bullied for so long and she becomes this hard nut person, and she just doesn't care anymore. So yeah, don't change your characteristics, guys. Don't become evil with the evil person, if that makes sense. So if someone's being mean or rude to you, you don't retaliate and do the same back to them.
Yeah, that puts you in their shoes.
You become them then.
I mean,
so what you should do, because that's one of the mottos in life right now, where they say don't say no, and stand up for yourself, and that's a really common thing nowadays, I've noticed. And people are so proud that they are confrontational, and they get into arguments, and they're like, no, nobody can mug me off. Don't become that kind of person. You need to be nice, you need to be kind, soft spoken, and don't fall into that trap
if
where
you can't get along, don't make conversation. Keep it
minimum.
Keep it minimum.
Yeah.
I mean, if you know you're gonna get into an argument or anything like that, try and avoid arguments. I mean, you might not be from the.
So say the mother-in-law is ranting.
If the mother-in-law is ranting,
what do you do at that time?
Don't say anything.
Don't say anything. Keep quiet.
Keep quiet. Just let her rant.
Let her do her rant, and then afterwards, when she's calmed down, you could approach her when she's calm. She's having a cup of tea. Maybe make her a cup of tea. She's not. Make her a cup of tea. Give it to her. You have a cup of tea. Sit down with her when nobody's around. It's just her, and then you open up to her and say, you know what? I didn't like what you said before, and it's not nice how you said it, and I'd appreciate it if you spoke to me like this, maybe, or don't just open up to her basically, and let her know your feelings.
Yeah, and
you guys need to communicate. That's really important. That's something that me and my mother-in-law did, by the way.
I mean, what it is, right? If someone's angry, there's so many reasons why they're angry. Yeah, I mean, you can't pinpoint why they're angry. Sometimes they just are looking for an argument, are looking for a fight, are looking for an excuse, or something that's bothered them. They take the anger out on yourself.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, when someone's angry and you try and anger them more, you escalate it more.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the best thing to do is just keep shut, walk away, walk out the room. If some might even chase you out the room. What do you do then? It is a challenge.
It is.
Yeah. You just kind of like, you have to step back and just figure out a way to avoid confrontation or avoid these vile conversations. Basically, it's all about you being yourself and being just not pushover, but it's avoid it. You get what I'm saying? It's because when someone's angry, if I'm angry, if you kept on pestering me when I'm angry,
it's like two fires are fighting. One needs to be water, one needs to be fire. That's what my mom says, by the way. So in English, it's if there's two people arguing, one person needs to be water and one person needs to be fire, so that you guys are opposite and the water can.
It comes to a balance, in equilibrium or something, like.
Okay, I have one thing. Someone did anonymously message me, and they said, in your opinion, do you think it is okay for mother-in-laws to demand that you give some of your zakat money to them? So zakat money means charity, so that they can give to their own poor, help build a house, etc. It does go towards a good cause, but surely giving zakat should be on our terms. It's so awkward. How can we say no but then feel obligated to give every year? Would love to hear your thoughts on this. So that's a really interesting one, because I think a lot of people would relate to this. There are lots of in-laws, especially in this country, in the UK. In-laws do say to their daughter-in-laws, because their daughter-in-laws have gold, and you have to give, I don't know if you guys know, but you have to give charity like 2.5% of that gold weight or something, and you give it to charity, and it's a farz, which means it's obligatory. Every Muslim has to do that. And people do that during Ramadan, because in Ramadan obviously it's more rewarding. So every year a lot of mother-in-laws do say to their daughter-in-laws, hey, if you're giving charity for your gold zakat, for your gold zakat, make sure you give it to me. It's gonna cut off. Make sure you give it to me, and I will give it to the poor in Bangladesh, Pakistan, India, wherever they're from. Mainly because they have their contacts in Bangladesh. They have poor people that they can give, like poor relatives and stuff. Now what I would say to this is, there is nothing wrong with that, by the way, and don't think of it as a negative thing, because you'd think, oh, why should
Yeah.
I give my zakat money to my mother-in-law? Like, it doesn't make sense. At the end of the day, it's your intentions. If you have pure intentions, nothing should matter.
Yeah, what it is, right, what you have to remember with charity is charity starts at home.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at it from, don't look at it from your mother-in-law, look at it from your husband's point of view. I mean, if you can get someone from your, you know, your in-law side, or even from your family side, to rise up, I mean, through those charity money,
Yeah.
I mean, and they've, you know, they've get out of
It's
poverty.
helped them, yeah.
It's helped them. I mean, giving it, I mean, giving it to you, I mean, it's Islamic thing as well. You know, charity.
Give it in your community.
Yeah, give it in your community. Charity starts at home.
Your family,
and so
your
that's what it is.
community, yeah.
They have that thing as well, to think your charity starts at home. So I'm going to have to give it to my people.
Yeah.
But I mean, when we're talking about giving all of it.
So if you have a charity organization that you're really passionate about, that you want to donate your money to, but your mother-in-law has said to you, hey, make sure in Ramadan this year you give me your charity money that you're planning to donate, give it to me so I can give it to the poor in Bangladesh, India, Pakistan, wherever. What you can do is give half of what
Or even a quarter.
or a quarter, or even a third, whatever you want to. So like, give £100 to your campaign that you want to give to, because there's loads of campaigns out there nowadays, like on Just Giving pages, loads of charity organizations that fundraise for the poor and needy, like in Syria and Palestine. You can donate to them and then give the rest to your mother-in-law and explain to her, look, this is what I've done. I've already given part of this money to this campaign that I'm very passionate about. I really wanted to help them out this year, and I've given the rest to you, and I hope you don't mind, but this is what's... And then she can't say anything.
She can't say no, because it's...
She won't be able to say no, or she won't be able to get angry, because at the end of the day, you have tried helping, you have given, you've done your part, if you know what I'm saying. So this is something I've done, actually, personally.
My dad comes... Talking
from experience. My father-in-law, I think it was it this year?
It is every year.
Not this year, last year. This year I gave it to him. So last year, and the years before, actually, he's always mentioned to my husband, hey, if you guys are going to give any charity, give some to us. And then, because they used to...
They bulk. But they give it out to everybody within our community now.
So, no, it's, you know, in the UK, all the family relatives, so my husband's dad, my father-in-law, his brother, his cousins, so they all input a bit of, everyone donates a little bit, and it becomes a big sum, and then they help out like a family
in the area, within the area, basically.
So they help like a family in Bangladesh
build
a house, for example, who are really poor, or build water wells, or whatever they do, I'm not sure. And then, so this is what my father-in-law's, he's always said to us, hey, if you guys are going to give some, make sure you give it to this cause that we're doing in Bangladesh, blah blah blah. So what I've done in the past is, you know, when you have people come up to you, like even on the internet, on Instagram, and they're like, hey sis, can you donate to my page, blah blah blah. I've always like tried my best to help out, and I've donated to different pages, and I've donated like 100, 150, whatever, and then the rest I would give to my father-in-law, my mother-in-law, who would then give that out in Bangladesh. So I've done that in the past, and they've never had a problem. They understand. They're like, yeah, that's cool. If you want to, we're happy with whatever you've given.
I mean, it's you know, it's as far as you have to give charity regardless of,
yeah, it's obligatory on
you know, and
Muslims.
they know it themselves. When you say I've given it to there,
yeah,
you know, I've given this much, a small portion or so here, they wouldn't mind. I don't think they'll question that, because at the end of it, you have to give charity.
Yeah,
I mean, even if you give your zakat money, for example, I mean, you can always have a little to spare. I mean, giving is always rewarding. You know, 100%. It doesn't matter how much you give. Let it be a little or a lot. It doesn't matter. You know, even after giving your thingy, why don't you give a bit more? It doesn't really matter.
So the last thing I wanted to say is, it's really, really important for a daughter-in-law to put her self in her mother-in-law's shoes. So you need to understand where your mother-in-law is coming from, why she's got so much expectations, why does she feel like this, why is she so angry, and why is she judging you so much. There can be a story behind all this, and it could be because it's the way she's grown up, and it's the environment she's been in, and she's just become this hard person because of the life she's lived. And sometimes you have to sympathize with that. I know it's really difficult to say.
Some women, you can't break them. I don't know. It's a challenge in itself. But you know what you have to do? You have to go on a journey or a challenge, basically. Yeah. I mean, you might not be able to break them ever, basically. You don't know. Everybody's not the same.
And you need to sympathize with them.
Yeah. I mean, you have to come to a common ground. It's all about changing their perspective of you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the way they would view you. I mean, if you can melt their heart, it's very important that you do.
100%. And you need to understand that for them, they feel like this could be one of the points where they feel like they're being a mug, because there's this new girl in the house who's not doing much. She goes to work, comes back, and she's eating your food.
And she's controlling my son.
She's controlling the son. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, she's going out with the son, she's having fun, and I'm sitting at home, the mother-in-law,
it's like out of the norm,
who's cooking and cleaning, and you feel the mother-in-law feels like she's a mug, and you know, she's doing everything, and this girl is doing nothing. And this is how they're feeling. Do you know what I'm saying? So you need to show that, hey, I'm trying to put in an effort. Show her that you're trying. And I know it's really hard, guys. It can be really difficult, but it's a journey. And you know what? In 10 years' time, you will laugh, and you think, you look back, and you'll actually miss that time.
Yeah, struggling is a reward in itself through Allah, basically. For Allah's sake.
Definitely.
I mean, if you're going
you need to keep pure intention. You need to keep pure intentions. As long as you have good intentions, Allah can see what you're doing, and you know your intentions, and He will reward you for your struggles. And at the end of the day, think of it as a reward. So whatever you're doing for your in-laws, it's a reward at the end of the day.
The other thing I wanted to touch upon, I touched upon it last time as well, is for the brothers out there. Yeah, I mean, for myself, for example, brothers like myself, we will have hard times from Mrs. yourself, for example. If you were going through that, obviously I'll be the first point of contact. I mean, how would I deal with it? How would a guy deal with it? It's very difficult from my point of view, it's very difficult for us guys to deal with it as well. Because at the end of the day, it's our mothers. I mean, our mothers has done a lot for ourselves, and to question them is quite difficult for us.
It's hard because a lot of daughter-in-laws at night would go to their husbands and be like, your mum said this, your mum did that. And what does the guy do? Like, how does he deal with it? Because he's in between. And
that makes it quite difficult from my perspective anyway, because this might cause an argument, a friction with my wife, for example. If you were to come with me, it might cause a friction. But it's the way you present it to me. You know what I'm saying? If my mom's giving you a problem, if I've not heard it, I have to hear it from two people. I mean, conversation doesn't only go one way, it has to go two ways, basically. If I can hear your side of the story, you might be wrong. I can hear her side of the story, he might be wrong.
Because sometimes, you know, when you're having problems, you're so fixated on your issue, you start believing in it. Even though it's wrong, you believe you're right. Until somebody turns around and says, hey, you know what? That's not right.
Yeah, and if you were going through a problem with my mom, obviously, and you told me, I'd find a good time to talk to my mom. I'd go, Mom, you know, it's like, it's really difficult to say. I don't want to make arguments. I have to talk to her in a subtle way without obviously without hurting my mom. That's one of my things anyway. I mean, a lot of us guys would be like, I don't want to really question my mom. It's very difficult to question moms or any family members as well. It's what we try to do is avoid confrontation altogether. We try to ignore all of that and just say, you know what, just forget it and just keep on moving on with your life. Ignore it. I know some of you sisters will say, how am I supposed to ignore this? This is a constant thing. This is a daily thing. It's somewhat at the end of it, what I say is like, be patient. Time will pass. Time's a healer.
100%. That's brilliant advice, babe.
Is it?
So I did mention this in my last deleted video. My husband has level 4 advising, general advising or something. So
Wow.
he's an advisor.
I'm a general advisor, but you know, it's just anything and everything I've dealt with.
So
to be
he
honest.
is kind of a professional, guys.
I wouldn't say professional, not in all topics. What it is, I'm a one-to-one person.
He's good at general advice.
It's my job.
Everyone goes to him for advice, guys.
My job is to
So if
motivate
you have
people.
any problems, any issues, message me on Instagram or email me. Here's the email address, and we will try our best
Yep.
to give our opinion, literally.
And what did we mention last time? The most important thing is guard your tongue. Yeah.
Yes, guard your tongue in all relationships.
In all
guard your
relationship,
tongue.
and be a good person, you know, and it's just be as nice as you can. I mean, Allah will reward you. It's sabr. It's all about, you know, being patient. I mean, some of you sisters would go through lots of difficult trials. Just take it like this for Allah's sake, for God's sake, you know. You'll figure it out. I don't know. It's just, it takes time. That's
And also praying.
praying. You know, you have to.
You have to ask
Sometimes
God.
you have to sacrifice certain things as well to make something work. I mean, but you have to figure that. That's your
No,
journey.
sometimes, you know what, some things might look like it's really difficult, but in the long run, it's for the best. So think of it like that. Turn every negative thing into a positive.
Yeah,
That's my motto in life.
take every terrain or trial as a challenge.
Yeah,
Now you have to figure yourself out.
because it's making you grow as in a stronger person.
Yeah, and you know, it makes it. It's all about giving yourself
You know,
strength.
life experiences, it makes you stronger, 100%. Because you know, me 20 years ago, babe, how was I? Wait, 20 years ago, how old was I? 13? 14?
20 years ago. How old are you now?
34.
I don't
Careful though. I mean, 10 years ago, not 20 years ago, I'm tired.
know about that.
10 years ago, I was a completely different person to what I am now. 100%. Like, if someone said,
You
sit
mature
down,
to age.
if someone said sit down and bark like a dog, I would sit down and bark like a dog. I was a yes man to everything. I'm still kind of that person though, but I've now.
Characteristic. If you're good,
Am I
good
still that kind of person? No, I'm not.
Yes, sometimes you are. But like I said to you when we have a conversation, I go, just keep. If someone upsets you, don't try and make chatbacks. Just let them see the best of you. Don't make it the worst.
It's true. But right now, I would say I've completely changed. Not completely changed, but I've got a bit more. I've got more opinion. Actually, forget about me, guys. I am going to end this lovely little session, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope we didn't bore you with all that talking, and I'm sorry, this is filmed really late. It's like 1 o'clock, 1:15.
Yeah, she's kept me awake.
I'm so sorry. Next time we will film this earlier, because then I think we'll be a bit more awake with more energy. I've got really low energy. I went to the gym in the morning.
So if you want to share anything in the future, you know, any topic, I mean, it can be ghosts, jinns, you know, I'd be interested to find out as well.
Yeah,
Anything.
tell us your ghost stories. Guys.
Maybe, you know, like maybe we can have certain personal experience ourselves.
Yeah.
You know? But you know, if
Make sure when you do message me with your problems and queries, make sure you're 100% comfortable with me reading it out on YouTube, because I don't want anyone saying to me to delete the video and stuff. Do you know what I'm saying? But yeah, make sure you do that and tell me that you're comfortable with it. And anyways, I will see you guys next time, inshallah.
Yeah, may Allah have peace with you all. You know, make it easier for all you sisters and brothers out there.
Oh, that's nice. Okay guys, bye. See you guys another time. And make sure you guys subscribe, like and comment. Bye.